Ah, yes, February 14th, where in the ordinary form, or Novus Ordo parishes, you'll all be celebrating the feast of Saints Cyril, monk, and Methodius, bishop, right? Oh, wait, no, you'll probably be celebrating the feast of Saint Valentine like the rest of us. Yes, after the issuing of the new liturgical calendar by Pope Paul VI, which, by the way, happened on February 14th, 1969, and that's your first hint at my future video on how the sacraments were changed after the council. In their infinite wisdom, the people who put together the new calendar decided to remove from the calendar possibly the most popular saint in the secular world after a comically distorted version of St. Nicholas, St. Valentine. But thankfully, the bishops have given us in America and other countries that observe this secularized feast day a special dispensation to observe the feast of St. Valentine today instead of later in the year, to whatever day they moved it to and then quietly hid it away. And that's a great thing that they gave us that dispensation because we'd probably have observed the day anyway. So let's have a look at the Catholic origins of Valentine's Day. And no, this won't be comprehensive, but should give you a good idea at how this day of chocolates, roses, and all things Hallmark and restaurant industry really does have Catholic roots. And before anyone chimes in and says, well, February 14th was originally a holiday on the pre-Christian Roman calendar in the empire, yeah, that's nice. It's great marketing for the church to keep existing holidays that don't conflict with the sensus Catholicus and to make those days Catholic. Let's get into this. According to what records the church has, there actually are 3 St. Valentines, all with the same feast day, February 14th. The first St. Valentine was a bone saw priest who lived in Rome in the 3rd century. He joined with St. Marius in efforts to comfort the martyrs of the targeting of Christians by Emperor Claudius II. St. Valentine himself was arrested, assailed, given the ultimate sentence, and then given what we'll call the Robespierre treatment for his beliefs on February 14th, AD 270. He was buried on the Flaminian Way, and Pope Julius I later built a basilica over St. Valentine's tomb. His relics were moved to the church of St. Praxedis in the 13th century. It's believed that this is the St. Valentine after which the day was named, so today is rooted in the comforting of those who need comfort. Perhaps, just perhaps, a more Catholic observation would include a visit to those in custody of the state and comfort them, or donate to a priest who engages in that particular ministry. Food for thought. We should try to keep these days holy. The second St. Valentine was Bishop of Interamna, which is present-day Terni, 60 miles or so outside of Rome. He, too, was suffered under the targeting of Claudius II. He was apprehended, scourged, and also given the Robespierre treatment. No more is known of him. Now this begs a question. Was Valentine, or its Latin equivalent, Valentinus, a common name in Rome? If you're seeing this and are somehow an expert on naming conventions in the ancient Roman Empire, let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. I know that the name persists today, but I suspect that has more to do with Christian habits of naming children after saints than anything else. The third, St. Valentine, was martyred in Africa with several companions, and that's all that's known about him, which is also kind of sad. All 3 of these St. Valentines do have one thing in common. Each one died for the love of the Lord. That is, they were given the crown of sacrifice because they made the ultimate sacrifice out of love for Christ and love for neighbor. That's something to consider on this day, as we buy loved ones roses and candies and take them to pricier dinners than we might otherwise most other days of the year. There's nothing really wrong with doing any of that either. I want to be clear about this. That this day, though, is rooted in the love for Christ, not jewelry, finery, or as the popular custom that is now, sadly, impurity. It is fitting that this year, 2021, Valentine's Day is on a Sunday. Hopefully your priest will give a homily on a properly Christ-centered Valentine's Day. Let me know in the comments if he did, because I'm genuinely curious. I'm obviously putting this together ahead of time, so I don't know if my priest has done so or not. As for the popular custom of displays of love and affection on St. Valentine's Day, those date back to the Middle Ages. At that time, it was commonly believed in England and France that birds began mating each year on February 14th. English poet Geoffrey Chaucer wrote about this in his famous poem Parliament of Fowls in Old English, which reads, "For this was on St. Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate." And so, in addition to the saint's behavior, the bird's love-struck behavior added to the feast by giving it the dimension of a day for lovers. Which is all great, but unfortunately this aspect of the day has been overemphasized by the world, and as such, for some, It is now a day of sin. Such is the state of things in our modern fallen world. However, it does make sense that St. Valentine has been named the patron of lovers, engaged couples, and happy nuptial arrangements, but he is also the patron saint of young people, as well as those with a common permanent affliction. He is a fitting intercessor in the Catholic sense for those who are courting and seeking a holy nuptial relationship. Did your sacramental prep course tell you this, by the way? I know that mine didn't, and I wish it had been brought up because a Catholic relationship involves three people, the spouses and Jesus Christ. It's an old, almost trite saying among a lot of Catholics, but it is absolutely true. Prayer is, of course, essential in this relationship, as any Christian of any stripe will tell you if they are trying to live the life of faith. Finally, don't think I'm being a downer about Valentine's Day. I bought my wife gifts and will be taking her out to dinner tonight, after Mass, of course. I'm all in favor of, hearts and love notes and candies and floral bouquets that go hand in hand with Valentine's Day. It is sad that this has sort of become the ending feast day for the Christmas season in the secular world. But I am more, though, in favor of allowing those loving gestures to represent the ultimate love, the love of God, and the martyrdom of courageous saints who refuse to surrender their faith rather than abandon their faith at the request of Caesar. And in this day and age, maybe, just maybe, the Valentinian saints are the perfect saints for our time. We'll have to wait and see, but if in the coming months and years we see Caesar take steps that the Census Catholicus objects to, then remember, the Valentinian saints are the perfect saints for our time. That's something to consider in all of that. The saints we think of as the patrons of love are also the perfect ones to pray for the freedom of the church. I don't want to forget that myself, so please try to remember it too. Now, what do you think of this? I think it's sad that we don't know more about two of the three Valentinian saints, and it's kind of odd that they all have the same feast day. It would be a weird coincidence, but again, when we're talking about these things, I don't think this is any kind of coincidence. Remember, God does work in mysterious ways. So on this feast of Saints Cyril, monk, and Methodius, bishop, yes, I did copy and paste that right out of a calendar, remember the original saints for this day, the Valentinian saints. And please, show your spouses a Christ-centered day of affection today as well. It's a great day for it, of course. It is completely right and just to have a right-ordered observation of the secular feast day. Again, I'm not being a downer here. It's just got some amazing, amazing Catholic roots to this day. Thanks for listening. I'm Anthony Stine. Ave Maria.